You're listening to the VICK757 podcast featuring Dwight and Michael Vick talking all things tech.
What's going on, everybody? Hokie Nation, we're back in the building with another episode of the VICK757 Show talking all things tech. I'm your host, former all-conference offensive lineman and captain Dwight Vick, along with my young cuz, Heisman finalist, Atlanta Falcon, Philadelphia great, Hokie great, Mike Vick is back with me as well, my co-host. We're back here for another episode to talk all things tech. Wish it was after a win, but it's after a disappointing loss, man. Cuz, how you holding up?
Holding up. It's all good. You know what? I'm an optimistic guy, and there was a lot of things that happened in that game that it probably don't happen out of 99 plays, 99 out of 100. So it's a lot of things to build from. Like, I tried to watch everything, offense, defense. I thought the defense performed well. I thought the offense did okay, but it certainly it's a building stage, and you can see it. I do think that some guys gonna have to step up as leaders, and they're gonna have to find their way. It's not gonna be easy. This week is not gonna be easy. Next week might be the easiest game on the schedule. As I had to go through the schedule and look at it and try to define what this season is gonna look like when it's all said and done. And it's some scary thoughts, but listen, it's to all our fans who watch this show, who appreciate our point of view and obviously can see, what's transpiring on the field. You don't have to have amazing football acumen to know exactly what's happening. We just got to take it 1 week at a time. Yeah. One game at a time. I think we got to practice harder. We got to get better in practice. We got to treat practice like the game. And then once Saturday's hit, we should find some type of justification in terms of success, from the hard work. So hopefully we can continue to build after this week. We got to buckle down. We got to find a way to beat Boston College, and that's just as simple as that, cuz.
I agree. We got to find a way. I was in attendance. Your Aunt Tina and Casey and Roberta I didn't get a chance to link up with them, but I wish I knew they were there. But there were a lot of other Hokie greats. Aaron Rouse was there, Bruce Smith, George Del Rico, Brian Randall. Nice. I ran into him as I walked into the stadium. Yeah. Saw a lot of guys from the media. Talked to our homie, John Berlin was in the building. Talked to him before the game. Yeah, but
I wanted to get down, man, but I wanted to get down, but I felt like there was a time for a lot of other people to kind of show face, man.
There'll be other opportunities.
I'm coming. I'll be at the West Virginia game for sure.
Yeah. I may be there as well Thursday night. That's gonna be it'll be lit regardless, but hopefully we can be 2-1. And the one thing I took away from the game, I was there with my wife and my son Isaiah, and we were sitting front row. We had great seats, and he was like, "Yo, Dad, they're not making game-winning plays. We dropped 4 picks. We had 13 or 14 penalties. Many of them were critical. You turned the ball over 4 times, and then subsequently you only got 1 turnover, a fumble that Dax Hollifield caused. And he played great. And there was a lot of great signs on defense, but obviously, if you're a Tech fan, you're really disappointed because in a lot of ways, nothing against ODU, they gave that game away. They were in control of the game, up 7-3, getting ready to go and to score again. Then it was an offensive pass interference. Then a few plays after that, you have the ball go over your head. They get the ball and score. Defense really showed out, and I'm happy about that because I think that's going to be our calling card with Coach Pry, the head coach calling defense. But at the same time, man, you got to find ways to win games, especially, in a game-winning drive by ODU was 4th and 2. You didn't wrap up. Running back makes the play, gets the first down, extends the drive, and it was some bad plays. I think, as Coach Pry mentioned in his post-game presser, the defense wore down, and that showed. But the offense, look, at the end of the day,
of course the defense going to wear down. Of course the defense going to wear down if you can't get a first down.
Yeah, but I just think you got to make game-winning plays, and Grant Wells, he came into this, as Danny mentioned, who's going to join us here shortly with his Noakes notes. He mentioned last week when Grant Wells was at Marshall in the same conference ODU used to be in, he had a lot of turnovers. So he's got to take care of the football, man. I think the bright spot, to be optimistic and to be honest, Tech can definitely beat Boston College and win some other games, but they got to take care of the football and they got to make game-winning plays. They just got to.
Yeah, well, we definitely not going to sit here and talk about taking care of the football because the way if you can't protect the football, you are not going to win football games. It's just that plain and simple. And the reason why I said we're in a rebuild and it's evident is because of the things that you just said. Snaps over the quarterback's head. A lot of penalties. And so, when that happens, it's just you're not really grasping the system or the scheme. But it'll come through time. And I think, it's one thing to practice because you practice against your defense every day. And that's their scheme. But when it's time to see another scheme or another defense, now you're not practicing against one technique every day. You might be going against two technique or three technique for offensive linemen and so on and so forth. You're seeing different things. So, I just want to see how we adjust, how the players adjust, because it's not always on the coaches. Sometimes the players got to take the onus too. But, all in all, we're going to find a way. We're going to find a way against BC. It's the only way.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you this question. I'm glad because we got a few more minutes before Danny jumps on. You mentioned we had Corey Moore on last week, and it was actually good that you brought this up. You mentioned your redshirt freshman year. I was actually at that game. You got me tickets because I was already graduated. I was at that game.
Yeah.
Your redshirt freshman year. You're starting on a team that eventually played for a national championship. At home against Clemson, you had 3 picks. I looked this up. I think you were 7 out of 18, something crazy. 3 picks.
Always, here you go with that memory.
Yeah, 88 yards passing, right? And, you were a freshman. We saw what you did against JMU, but Clemson was obviously a much formidable opponent. I had a lot of people that were talking to me after the game. I jumped on Twitter, in the Twitter space, just to chop it up with me. It was me, Isaiah Ford, a lot of former players in there. And we were talking about not panicking. And there were a lot of fans asking me, should we bench Grant Wells because he had 4 picks, even though 2 or 3 of them were tipped. And I said, listen, Mike had a very pedestrian game his redshirt freshman year, and the defense and the running game carried the offense to the win. We won 31-11. With you, I know you're not Brent Pry, you're not Tyler Bowen. What do you think about pulling him and benching him? Do you think it's too premature to sit him after one game?
Well, the only thing I will say is that the competition that we played against really kind of jogs people's minds and make them feel like, hold on, we just fell to ODU. What does the rest of the season look like? And nobody wants to watch that. It's like you want to just pull the covers over your head and not even look. And you mentioned in the game against Clemson, I'm glad you brought that up because in relation to, my answer, what I'm saying is that was a tough game for me. It was super pedestrian. It wasn't like the rest of the 99 season. But I made a play in that game. It was 3rd and 10. And, I remember the play. I hit Derek Carter, rest in peace, Derek, down the middle on a broken arrow against a cover 3 defense that I probably shouldn't have made the throw against. But Ricky Bussell told me that Monday or that Sunday after the game was like a quarterback that was rattled or wasn't in tune with the game wouldn't have been able to make that play. He felt like I grew up in that moment, even though I threw 3 picks. I had a rough game. And I found a way to make the game-winning play, really, because all it did was gave us a first down and we was able to run the clock out. And the running game did carry the game. So I don't think you bench Wells. I think you give him an opportunity to come back against a good opponent. And I say good because everybody in the ACC is good, I think. It might be tears, but Boston College is going to be a challenge, much better than Old Dominion. And just see if he can grow from it and if he can learn from it. He might come out and throw 4 TDs this week. And the offense might open up and it might look different. So I'm excited, man. I just want to be patient with this team. I respect Coach Pride and I respect the rebuild process, man. And I'm going to stand behind this team 100%. I don't care how we look, at week 6 or week 7. we're gonna build this thing back up together.
No doubt. And I agree with the rebuild notion. And I'll just say that at the end of the day, man, like, you know, we have to understand that this is Pry's first year. He's not from Coach Fuente's staff. He's not from Beamer's staff. This is his first year. Ironically, after the tough loss to ODU, they got a commit from South Carolina, I believe, a defensive back. So recruits are still interested in coming. I mean, I believe in his vision, and I feel like you know, when you're building something, you're going to have some ugly losses or disappointing losses. I mean, it's just the nature of the beast, man. It's not like
the nature of the business.
You know, the previous coach took over and went to a SEC or Big 12 program. It was agreed that he was let go, and Pry's got to clean up. Man, but we're moving forward, man. You know,
Coach Pry didn't get left with a lot of groceries, as you know, Coach Parcells would say, the great Bill Parcells. He didn't get left with a lot of groceries to work with. He got to go shop. He got to find them. Times are changing. Things are changing. The recruits are changing. The transfers are, you know, it's in a different space, all for the better. And, you know, the time will come. And not saying that we sitting here saying that this season is a wash, because I never even say that. I don't care if we get off to an 0-3 start. We can win the next 3 and be 3-3. And then we can win 3 after that and be 6-3. So I'm going to always give us the benefit of the doubt. Now, if it's 4 years, 3 years from now, we still looking the same, I'm going to be like, all right, hey, coach, you want to give me that headset? Give me the headset.
No, I mean, we have to, you know, turn the page and give a chance. You know, interesting. We're going to preview the Boston College matchup with our 2 guests, as long as with Danny. He's getting ready to jump off 106.7 The Fan radio here in a minute and join us. But the one thing
I got a question for you.
What's up?
Before Danny come on, how many times you played against Boston College?
You know, gosh, I played against BC 4 years. 4 years. All
really 4 in a row.
Yeah, because my red shirt freshman year I played. Actually, I played them on my birthday one year. Went 4-0 against them. We lost my red shirt. Actually, I went 3-1 against them. We lost them my red shirt freshman year, 95. We lost at home, 20-14. It was a crazy loss, man, because Thursday night, you know how we did Tech back then, ESPN and Virginia Tech. Thursday nights felt like built for Blacksburg. We lost, man, and after that, we went up there and beat them in Boston College, and then we beat them my senior year. We had, if you remember, you were a red shirt. We went up there my senior year.
Went up there and beat them.
Red shirt, and it was raining. It was raining.
It was a nasty game, and it was cold.
Pearson Prelo had a pick six. They had a running back named McLeod. Nick Sorensen threw a touchdown pass to Ricky or a slant. We won. The defense helped carry us that game.
No doubt. Y'all played amazing. But this is what I say. That's the moment when I learned, while I was watching y'all go ham on Boston College. That was the moment when I realized I can't be on this bench for the next 3 years. It was so cold over there, bro. Like, I was over there freezing, and it was raining. I'm like, look, I'd rather be in some action than to be standing here with a jacket on. Right then and there, I made my mind up that I was going to be a starter for 4 years if it came down to it. But one more question, because I got to ask you.
Go ahead.
What was your favorite BC moment? All your years.
So, man, that's a tough one. You got me with that. Favorite BC moment was probably when we beat them in Boston College on my birthday. That was either my red shirt sophomore year. Yeah, because my red shirt junior year, we hosted them. My red shirt sophomore year, we won on my birthday. I was a backup, but I played a lot of snaps. It was me, DeAngelo Napoli, and Ty Washington rotating the guard and center. And I think we won like 45-10. They had one of the Hasselback guys at quarterback. They had Chris Hovan, a lot of great big defense. Boston College always got big offensive defense.
Hovan was a monster.
Yeah, Chris Hovan. Yeah, so
for all the Virginia Tech fans watching, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Go ahead.
Oh man, I just had a moment with Hovan, but go ahead, cuz you mentioned
Hovan. No, you played against him, right?
Yeah, in the 1999 season. In the 1999 season, one thing we're gonna start doing, we're gonna start telling stories. We're gonna start out with some stories, and we're gonna because we always got them. But
yeah.
In the 1999 game, the game that we beat them to go to the national championship, I shook Chris Hovan in the A gap so bad. Please, I love Chris Hovan. I played against him in the pros, but everybody go Google that moment. Mike Vick gets away. I'm gonna say get away from Chris Hovan versus at home versus Boston College. Oh man. It's one of the sickest moves I ever put on a man.
Let me ask you, I mean, Boston College got to be special for you because that was the game. I was back in Blacksburg. I was staying in Pheasant Run for that weekend, staying at my girl, now my wife's house. You know, we were at the townhouse, and that was a big game. You guys beat Boston College to go to the national champion, and y'all won, I believe, 38-14. You and Andre connected on that deep ball. Sharon was getting off. I remember you got carried off the field with Beamer, right?
Yeah, man. I got carried off the field. I actually got a picture of it in my basement with me and Terrell. Terrell was right there in the middle of it. Terrell Parham. Shout out to Terrell Parham, my brother. And it was one of them nights, man. It was one of the moments where it just felt like everybody contributed to that. Not just us on the field, but the fans. They tore down the goalposts. It was one of them nights, man. It's one of them nights like that you dream of. And I never thought it would happen to me or to us. And of course, it was because so many great ones paved the way before us, man. It finally came together for Coach Beamer. I was more happy for Coach Beamer than anything because Coach finally, reached the pinnacle of probably where he was gonna go. You can't go no higher than that. And like, even if we don't win, Coach, we got a chance. But we went down there to New Orleans to win it.
Yeah, man. And I'm hoping one day we can get back with Brent Pry. And speaking of Brent Pry, we have a guy to here break down Brent Pry's first opening loss. Danny Noakes joins us on the VICK757 Show, talking all things tech. Danny Noakes, just fresh off his segments and radio show at 106.7 The Fan, joins us this evening, man. What's going on with you, Danny? How you doing?
Just got off the air. Just got off the air, gentlemen. What nightmare are we reliving this week, huh? It happened again, right? I mean, that's what I kept thinking. As soon as they took that block or the bad snap on the field goal back for a touchdown, I said, it's happening again. What's going on?
Yeah, man. Did you watch it in your man cave there, or did you go to a sports spot? You watched it there?
We watched it at home. I watched it, me and my girlfriend, who is also a Hokie alum, and it was like slow, excruciating torture. A 4-quarter stomach ache. And I know that I'm far from alone on that, but man, we have a lot to break down about this game because there actually were some positives. There were some things that they did well, particularly on defense. But boy, there's a lot they got to work on.
Well, let's talk about the things they did well, Danny.
What was your impression?
Let's start with the offense. Let's start with the offense.
There you go.
The offense, I thought, started off very well, right? Grant Wells, they got good field position on that first touchdown. Grant Wells makes a nice read, and he ran untouched into the end zone. I was texting my brother, Andy. We were all fired up. We say, hey, we might have something here. Look at this guy. He took off like a BB and scored with ease, and it was a good read. I like that what we were seeing from them, even though that wasn't their first drive of the game. They obviously sputtered a little bit on their first couple of drives, but I was happy with what they were doing there. And another thing that I'll say that at the time, it was kind of frustrating to watch, but I commend their staff for doing it, is they never seemed to get away from running the football. They kept feeding Keyshawn King even when they found themselves down in this game, which they were several times throughout. So I give them a lot of credit because Fuente would have absolutely abandoned the run game, and we probably would have lost by 2 touchdowns like we did the first time.
Yeah. I mean, I know we stay committed to the run, and Dwight, I'm gonna let you, ask Danny your questions, but I was almost sensing, fellas, that we needed to open it up a little bit.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing it out there. It just felt like sometimes that we was looking like everybody else. And I love the zone read game. I was the originator of it.
Yeah,
and I like it, and I like all the slide, and I like the, but I also like to get in 4 wides and 5 wides too, and see where the defense going to present and how you. So yeah, Danny, I know you digested everything, but fellas, do y'all think we should have jumped into like more sets, or was it more that could have been done on offense?
Well, yeah, my criticism, I always like to watch the game as a fan, then go back and either watch the DVR copy or just kind of watching breakdowns or read with guys like Andy Bitter and David Tillwright, just to kind of look at the numbers. And the way that game was being officiated, you had Sunbelt officials, which, believe me, they had a horrible game officiating the game, especially if you're a Tech fan. They were terrible.
Yeah.
With that being said, I feel like when you get a turnover or Virginia Tech came out down 7-3 at the half, and they got they stopped ODU. They stopped the ODU for 3 consecutive possessions and did not score. And I feel like when you have a team bottled up, because ODU was not good offensively, a lot of that had to do with what Virginia Tech was doing on defense. So ODU was not good offensively. I felt like, to your point, Mike, they were calling PIs. I know Caleb Smith, their best deep threat and best receiver, was hampered with a hamstring injury.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you got receivers. Try to throw it up. Get a 50-50 ball. Like put the onus on the ref to make a call. Maybe do you saw Florida State. I was watching them on Sunday night. They did trickery, double reverse pass. Throw a trick play and do something to seize momentum, because I firmly believe this, even if I was not a Tech guy, I firmly believe if Virginia Tech had gone up double-digit points, 14 points, like they were close to doing several times, I don't think ODU would even come close to winning that game. What are your thoughts, Danny?
Yeah, I actually think that's true. And I think your first point, Dwight, spoke exactly to what Mike was saying. And I'm going to piggyback off it too, because if I had to give a reason as to why Pry and Tyler Bowen, the offensive coordinator, weren't willing to open up the playbook maybe as much as you would have expected, Mike, is because they're a little bit hesitant to do that with Grant Wells right now. They're a little bit nervous about allowing him to stretch the field. And you saw the 3 turnovers that he had in this game. Now, 2 of them probably weren't his fault, at least 2 of them, by the way. So you can take that home and say, okay, it wasn't that bad, but one of those interceptions was a poor decision, and it was more of what we saw from him and Marshall, and those were the concerns of what was the number one key that we said going into last week that they needed to not do. It was turn the football over, and that will go for any team. You can't turn the ball over 5 times and expect to win a football game on the road like that. Not when you're Virginia Tech. So if I had to guess, that would be the reason why they weren't willing to open it up, but like you guys were saying, why not take a couple of shots downfield, right? They're calling pass interference. I have as much faith in the athletes that we have at Virginia Tech to go up and make a play on a ball against this ODU secondary as much as I do the Monarchs to make a play on a ball that gets thrown deep. So, it was a little bit odd, especially when they got down, to see that they still weren't taking a ton of shots.
Yeah. But what's going to change, fellas, in terms of like the landscape of this picture. So the kid that made the game-winning interception for ODU, he was from Norfolk. He was from Norfolk, Virginia.
Yep.
And when they said it during the announcement, I heard it during the broadcast, and it was like the safety from Norfolk, Virginia, and I'm like, he looked good. He was like physically fit, and I'm saying to myself, something has to change here. We need those type of plays to be made on our side. And this is a kid from Norfolk, Virginia, but it just goes to show that the talent is in the area. And I know at some point we'll be back down there full force. We got to be. That's the objective. We gotta have those type of players making plays at some point, during the game. So, look, regardless of where you're from, you got to make plays, but to hear him that he was from the 757 area, that really was like, man, our guys, they right in our backyard, and they making plays, right? They beating us.
Mm-hmm. They twice now. Mm-hmm.
Come on, man.
And Mike, before I ask Danny my question, I was there in attendance, and just like a few years ago, ODU fans, and I was there in the summer to move my daughter in. ODU fans and players are going to treat especially when they're at home. When they come to Tech, we usually smack them. But when they're at home, that's going to be their championship game, because they're still a new football program. They're not even 10 years, if they are.
Right.
I don't know if they're 10 years old yet. But with that being said, that is still the marquee game on their schedule. They play UVA, but they're going to always get up for Tech because of what Tech stands for historically. Danny, I want to ask you this. Obviously, defensively, Coach Pryor called a great game. And his staff looked to do a good job with the lack of depth, because I heard him in his post-game presser saying, defense got worn down. There were some guys that played a little bit too many reps. But we saw some great things. Your boy Nasir Peoples was out there hitting. Not Greg, his younger brother, Jalen Stroman was good. Dax Hollyfield played. He graded out the best linebacker of anybody in the country. I mean, he got that. Yeah, wow.
I hadn't seen that actually.
Yeah, Dax is killing it. So with that being said, there were a lot of great things. We got Boston College coming up, man. Do you think we can expect a repeat performance? They're coming off a tough loss to Rutgers, where they led most of the game, but Rutgers just, really, really took advantage of their mistakes. What do you expect from us when we host Boston College here this Saturday night, a primetime game in Lane Stadium, a home opener?
Well, one of the other keys, guys, that I said that Virginia Tech needed to change from the Fuente era to the Pry era was coming out with a little bit more energy. And I don't necessarily think that they were incredibly flat when they came out against ODU, but it still wasn't the level of energy that I would like to see. So now that they're back at home, now that they're playing under the lights at Lane, I think that there will be a little bit more energy, a little bit more juice. They get to play their first ACC game too. And I think you'll see exactly that. You'll see some better energy. Now they got to limit the turnovers. Boston College, part of the reason that they ended up losing by just 1 point to Rutgers was they kept turning the football over. And for the Hokies, it's really not going to be a complicated formula to beating this team, because Boston College is not a team that's riddled with talent, not at all. But if you come out, your offense starts the game again like it did against Old Dominion, I think you need to put some points on the board, whether it's a field goal or whether it's a touchdown. You need to come out and you need to show that 17 points against Old Dominion is not the standard. Right. We're used to watching that sort of thing under Fuente. That's not okay anymore. All right. So now let's strap up. Let's put on our big boy pants and let's go play. Right. Because this is what I said at halftime of this game. I said, you better get that deer in the headlights look out of your eyes or you're going to lose this game. That's what it was. Deer in the headlights, just like it was the first time we lost to them. Yep. And it was literally like watching history repeat itself. And they came out and they just looked overwhelmed. So a clean start is the key.
Dan, you hit it on the head, man. But you know where energy come from, gentlemen? Energy come from belief. And Dan, you said it all last year. You was like, we got to come out with more energy. We got to start faster. And when you come out and you just a little bit timid and you're half second slow and you're not believing in what you're seeing, you can't bring that. So I think preparation, at least the amazing performances, but that energy comes from belief that we about to go out there and smack them. Yep. And that's what has to happen.
Yeah.
Great point, Mike.
Yeah. Danny, with that being said, we're not going to get into the other ACC teams. The ACC, Clemson didn't look great against Georgia Tech, but they pulled away. North Carolina gave up 40 points in the quarter to Appalachian State. UVA beat Richmond 34-17, but, I talked to my guy, Ahmad Hawkins, who covers the games. They were vanilla, and they got a tough one against Illinois, the nation's top rusher, on the road this weekend. We have Boston College. Wake Forest just got their quarterback back. Pittsburgh, West Virginia gave them a game, but, they lost about 6.
That was a good game. That was a good game, though.
The bottom line I'm getting, I'm not going to sit here and say Virginia Tech is an 8 or 9 win team. I mean, right now, I think we're at a place where, they have to scratch and claw for every victory. But as Mike said right before you jumped on for your Noakes segment, Virginia Tech can still win. I'm not going to say the Coastal or the ACC, but they can still win games. Yeah. They take care of the football, make some plays. ACC is not the SEC or the Big Ten this year.
You're right.
So what would be, as the fans watch this right now, what should they expect? I know you're not the coach, but this is your segment. What do you think they should expect, not just this weekend, but moving forward as Pride gets the team to focus and build on their strengths and take care of their mistakes? What should they expect?
Well, if Pry is doing what I would assume he's doing and hope that he's doing, he's challenging his guys right now. And I watched one of the drills I think that the receivers were doing today, and they were firing footballs at him
from about
5 yards away, running right into a defender. They were not playing around. That was just the receivers. You can only imagine what the guys that see a lot more contact than the receivers were doing. So I hope that he challenges them. And I think a lot of the stuff that we've talked about will come when the team really starts to buy in, when they believe, like Mike was saying, right? I had to take a step back after this game because as frustrating as it was, and despite the fact that they lost, Tech had every opportunity to go and win that game. Didn't, but they had every opportunity to do it. And so if you take a step back, this is the first game of the season. There's a lot of very winnable games still on the schedule. I'm going to walk back that 7 to 8 win prediction that I had in the last show, but we won't talk about the win total anymore because obviously this is probably going to be a week to week thing. I mean, and when you start to look at who's healthy and who's not, I think that's probably an interesting wrinkle too. Caleb Smith got banged up, left the game sometime in the first half, but they're hopefully getting CJ McCray back. Yes. Malachi Thomas was dressed today. Pry said that Thomas is a fast healer. Man, if we get Holston going, Keyshawn King, and Malachi Thomas, I mean, don't even let Wells throw the ball. If you're moving the ball on the ground, you know what I mean? I don't think that they'll be successful if they only run the ball, obviously. But
no, we got to see some passing games.
They're getting some guys back.
We got to see. This is all in preparation for the Clemsons. We play Clemson.
No.
We play Clemson. All right. So preparation for Duke and Pitt and West Virginia.
Yeah.
So we gotta find a rhythm. We gotta find some type of rhythm. Whether it's on offense or defense, or one side of the ball really has to carry the team. So one side of the ball has to carry the team.
That's a great point. Yeah, and Danny, as we get ready to let you go here in a second, we have Boston College, a very winnable game, and after that we have was it Wofford? Wofford. I can never consider that name right. And then that big showdown with our old Big East foe, West Virginia, on Thursday night. There are plenty of opportunities for Virginia Tech to build on this and make a statement. When you look at Coach Pry, I mean, obviously, we all three of us believe in him. I believe the players believe in him. I asked Mike this question before you jump on. How short of a leash should Grant Wells have? I firmly believe it would be premature to pull him. Mike agreed, but I do think there has to be accountability. I do think competition from your backups, because this is a team where you can't afford to be but so patient. So how short of a leash do you have? I mean, quarterbacks sometimes get too much pressure and too much blame, but at the same time, what is your thought process with him moving forward?
It's a good question, and I definitely want to hear what Mike has to say about it because he's the former quarterback. But
he said he wouldn't pull him yet.
I would definitely not pull him.
I comment. Good.
Yeah, I would say that it depends a lot on what happens, right? The next 3 games, I broke it down the season in thirds in our last segment last week, and these first 4 games they were supposed to be 4 very winnable games. Now, one of them, you lost your opportunity to do that. Okay, well, now Boston College, like you said, very winnable game. Grant Wells, if he comes in and he turns the ball over a bunch of more times, again, game 2, probably still not something that I'm going to do. But I think around week 4, that West Virginia game, and I assume that they're going to play better against Wofford, right? I mean, I think we can still call that one probably a win. We'll see what happens against BC. But, and I know that Tech really shouldn't be taking any wins for granted right now. Trust me. I think around that West Virginia game, though, if Grant Wells still isn't playing at least diminished turnover football, right? If he hasn't cut down on them a little bit, you might start to hear a little bit of rumblings from the quarterback room that Brown might start to take some of his reps away.
And I'm okay with that. I want Wells to do well, but I mentioned to our fans on the Twitter space after the game, I saw Tyrod Taylor, get pulled from the game when Sean Glennon went in against Duke at home. We ended up winning the game 14 or 17-10. I saw Brian Randall get pulled against Miami when Miami had won 30-something conference. Actually, they had a national game winning streak, and Marcus came in, Mike's younger brother, my young cousin. We beat Miami 31-7 when they had Sean Taylor. They were defending national champions, whatever they were. They were the U back then. A lot of great quarterbacks have to sit for a half or a quarter or a week. I don't think it's anything bad. I just think, like Mike said, accountability has to be at the forefront. You got to take care of the football. Yeah. You got to block. You got to catch interceptions. You got to make game-winning plays. So I know all 3 of us believe in that. Danny, thank you for jumping on. This is great as usual. Noakes is a hit. So we'll see you next week. We'll talk about hopefully a Tech win. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Danny.
I apprate you guys. Thanks so much. Look forward to hopefully talking about a Hokies win this next week.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely. We will.
Yes, sir. Stay positive.
Noakes, everybody.
Absolutely.
Noakes. 106.7 is fine. 1067 The Fans Own. Appreciate him jumping on, man. So we're getting ready to bring in our special guest, Mike, but I'm glad Danny came in and talked about the same things you and I did. Not so much about agreeing, but more so accountability. And, you know, everybody's frustrated, but at the same time, man, you know, we got to keep moving forward. I mean, we got to turn the page, and we got to, you know, see what Pride and the offensive coaches and defensive coaches do when it comes to adjustments and making sure guys in a position to win and make plays, man. So,
yes, sir.
You know, I'm looking forward to it, man, and I'm looking forward to these two guests we have joining us, man. None other than Oscar Smith's own, Virginia Tech's own as well, Greg Boone, and also Aaron Rouse is in the building.
GB.
Yes, sir. Two of the best, man. What's good, gentlemen? What's good with y'all?
I can't call him on each other.
Yeah.
What's up, fellas?
What's good? Good to see y'all, boys.
Hey, it's great to see y'all, man. I talked to you. So I was telling Mike before you jumped on, Rouse, I was talking to you after the game. I saw you and Bruce Smith on the sideline getting interviewed. And then I was leaving the stadium, and you were talking about the loss, and you talked to the team. I dapped G up, Greg. I didn't even realize my young Virgo brother was there because you had glasses on that night, right? Did you have glasses on? Yeah. He was looking astute. I didn't recognize you. You know what I'm saying? So we want to have you. We're glad to have you guys both on, man. You two of my favorite players, two of my favorite people, and we got 4 guys from the 757 on here. So this is even more special. You know what I'm saying?
I wish I could have made the game with y'all, man, because you know we would have definitely held it down for the 7-5, man.
Absolutely. That's the first game, so you got more.
Been good to see y'all too.
Yeah,
always, bro.
Hey,
always.
Greg, I'm gonna start with you, man. You and I over the last several years, during games, I'm not gonna give everybody the insight because some of that stuff was rated R, but like during previous seasons, Greg and I would be on Twitter texting each other, DMing each other about the game, and you know, because we care about the Hokies, man. Greg, I'll start with you. You were at the game like myself, like Rouse, and Brian Randall. A lot of us were in attendance. You know, a lot of former players, alumni. You know, what was your thoughts? What were your impressions about the good and the bad with Virginia Tech against ODU?
Defense looked good. Defense held their own. I thought the offense, it was more too much dink and dunk offense. They ain't had no shots deep, which causes the defense to get out like 8-man front. So without that, I just thought it was just a waste.
Yeah. Rouse,
I agree with you, Greg.
Well, I think from my perspective, it was just, you know, I came in with the understanding Rome wasn't built in a day. And so our new coach, Coach Prywood, had to get some time to get the team together, to gel together under his new administration, so to speak. But for me, it was the little things. It was just, I thought the defense played solidly, but obviously when they're on the field majority of the night, it makes it harder at the end of the day to stop those big plays, but that's what you task with at a lot of times. Defense can't break. And I thought the offense, it was just lack of focus. You know, you have 5 turnovers. You all know you're not going to win any game with 5 turnovers. You know, so again, I thought it was just special teams play was just a lack of focus. It was almost like the little things, all that, you know, you go through spring practice, before you actually get in a real game, all the little things you all know in spring practice, you can get away with it. But when them lights on, it's time to actually play, all those little things become magnified and huge things. And we beat ourselves. That's not taking away from ODU. ODU did what they were supposed to do. But I just think, again, if we would have played with more of a focus, and we had 15 penalties. You know, we played more of a focus and discipline, we would have won that game. I mean, so those are my initial thoughts.
Fellas, like we've been throwing around the word rebuild, and it feels everybody's been saying we rebuilding, but and let's start with you, Greg. Like when you think about a rebuild for a team, what does that look like? Is that a 5-5 season? Is it a 6-5 season? You know, is it a 3-8 season? Like, fellas, like what do y'all think like this season should look like as, you know, as it unfolds throughout the course of the year? Because everybody's wondering, Like, what is this team going to look like, come week 7, week 8, or where will we be in the standings?
I don't know about the rebuild season being 5-5. To me, that's a disappointment. I'm trying to win at least 8 games or better. First year, not like I understand he got his recruits in and nothing, but still, I'm always set my goals high. I ain't never been on a team that lost my whole time at Tech. I tell you, we average at least 9 to 10 wins a season. So I don't believe in a rebuild stage as far as 5-5.
I would think, you got to manage expectations. I think obviously, Mike and Dwight, you all are legends, and y'all set the bar high, along with, Bruce Smith and them era. But Mike, I think when you all came along, national championship run, we were 10-win type season. So we've been spoiled for a long time. We've been very, very spoiled. And as Greg said, you always want to set your goals high and set at such a high level. But also you got to manage expectations. This not the same. It's not the same era of football how we played, because this NIL and the transfer portal is completely different. And that's why for me it comes back to the fundamentals. It comes back to tackling, knowing your assignment, and being greedy and hungry on the defense side of the ball, but on the offensive side of the ball, being efficient with the ball. So with that, I think coming in with a new coach, new coaching staff, players, the expectation has always been there. We Hokies, we're a Power 5 program, so you're not coming in there with an understanding you're not going to win no games. That should already be, solidified in any recruit's mind. But I think the expectation is, and now you all know, is what's important now, one week at a time, and at the end of the season, we got 8 wins. I'm happy with that. We got 5 wins. I'm happy with any game that we can win. But for me, I want to see improvement. I'm going to the game this weekend, and I want to see improvement because, you guys know from the first game, usually second and third game, when you make the most improvement. And I want to see if they clean all the little things up.
Yeah, it all starts with veteran leadership too, though.
Leadership? What you mean, Boone? What you mean?
When I played freshman, sophomore, whatever, like you had upperclassmen that just if you falling off the boat, they gonna make sure they get you right back on that boat.
Yeah. Dwight, let me say something. I want to touch on something that Rouse said, and I think it's very important for, he was talking about talent, and everybody be talking about, talent as it equates to winning and losing. Probably we got high expectations. Like everybody know that. We got really high expectations. And with the NIL and everything that's going on, like coaching is gonna have to be at a premium. Because you're not gonna get these top tier guys who getting, unless that aspect changes. But we won't get into that. And maybe it's the future for that. But now you're gonna get some of these guys who aren't top tier players, or might not be 5-star, 4-star, might be 3-star. Might be a 3-star guy, but you really got to coach them hard. You got to cater the system around them. So just pertaining to what you said, I just really feel like, the coach is going to have to do just a little bit more, man, and don't want to put more expectations or more pressure on them. But I think I kind of feel like that's where it's going to come from for the next couple of years, because we are in competition with a different world out there. With a whole different recruiting world that now consists of recruit. A lot of our teams was Virginia and Florida guys. If you think about some of your boys. So 757, DC, Pennsylvania, and a lot of them was from Florida. And guys we had a lot of respect for. So we got to change our little landscape of where we recruiting at. But yeah, I know that's going off on a tangent in a totally different space. But I think our coaches got to take a little more responsibility.
You good.
I thought it was absolutely. I look at it like I was on a Sideline ODU game, and we were talking. Brendan Hill, Kevin Jones, and we were all speaking, and I referred it to the coaching level has to be of Greg Popovich. Where his teams were always like fundamental. They ran the fundamental basketball, and they were hard to beat. They were hard to beat. That it didn't matter if you had the number 1 top recruit in the nation or top 5 recruit. It matters when you have on that uniform that you're doing exactly what you were coached to do in practice. No mistakes, none of that. And I think, Greg, you touched on a great point too, as far as leadership. You're absolutely right. I mean, I don't even want to begin to drop names, but we came in with a whole Deuce, Ronyell Whitaker, you know, Eric Wild, you know.
Rouse, I was going to look. I'm glad you said that because I was going to tell Boone. Boone, first of all, he came from the powerful Oscar Smith. Then he got there, and he playing with some of the best players, not just in Virginia high school history, but Tech history. So I agree with him. But like when I was watching y'all play, I mean, y'all took what we left off, and y'all took it to the level. I mean, Boone was not there with guys from Jerusalem University. Yes.
Yeah. how many of us was 5-star recruits though? I wasn't.
Me either.
4-star, I wasn't. You know,
but that's what our program was built on.
Exactly. Yeah. Leadership, coaching, blue collar, hardworking players.
Hard worker, right?
And we not highly recruited. So yes, fellas, it can be done. I mean, DeAngelo Hall, was he a 5-star recruit?
I want to say so.
D Hall was a monster.
But he went in. I'm just saying he might not.
No. He should have been.
He
should have been. But he coming out, he was known and highly ranked, but not highly touted. So
and still winning the first round.
Yeah,
got with Bud, and what was our DB coach name? I'm sorry, I forget.
Coach
Ward. Got with Coach Ward. You went to the pros, Rouse. 4 or 5 years in the pros. Cam Chancellor, 4 or 5 years in the pros. I'm just saying, like we won't highly recruited.
Well,
but you know what?
Go ahead, Rouse.
Go ahead, Dwight.
Well, I was just going to say, real quick, Rouse. I definitely want to hear your point. I think what it comes down to, and this is why I'm high on Coach Pride, because he was there 3 years with me when we created Lunch Pail. We beat Miami for the first time. He was at Penn State, and he saw how, from two perspectives in building through the Commonwealth and recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But most importantly, we knew how to win, and there was a culture and identity in place. So even years after you and I left, cuz Boone, Rouse, Vince Hall, you know, Vegas, Ronyell, everybody
took it over.
And years later, you know, Marcus, everybody knew no matter what. And then, of course, you know, we saw what happened after Beams and them left. But I think that's what Pride's trying to get back to, is that foundation of identity, because, you know,
he will.
And I know he will.
For sure. I think Coach, I was going to say, I think Coach Pride has done he's done a great job of trying to reinstitute and rebuild that 757 connection. You know what I mean? Through 804, you know, all the way back to Southampton, Hampton Roads. And that's where, you know, I've seen him and the coaching staff down here rebuilding up those relationships with the likes of Oscar Smith, Green Run. You know, we got to get Dre Black out of here, though, because Dre down here.
I'm about to send some goons to Dre's crib.
Hey, look. We want that. We want to compete with Dre.
Absolutely.
I love Dre. That's our brother. Come on, Dre, bring it on. Bring it on. Here we come.
I'm gonna give him some heat, but you know, it's back to, like, we talked about those 3, 4, 5-star recruits that when we came down here, it was a different type of what coaches Brian Steinspring, Jim Kavanaugh, and Beamer, what they was looking for. They was looking for those hard-nosed players who ain't afraid to work. You know, as them dogs, like we like to say. You know what I mean? Those players who was a little bit rough around the edges, but, you know, they could play and they were good kids. You know, I think a lot of times the way the college atmosphere has gotten so much, teams, and not necessarily Tech, but just in general, don't want to take a chance on players who may be rough around the edges. And that's what, you know, Coach Beamer and them were good at.
That was us.
That was us.
That was us. That was all of us.
Our background and molded us into men we are today. And so I think we got to get back to that. I think Coach Pride is definitely on target with that, on point with that. It's just, again, this college atmosphere, man, with its NIL transfer portal, it's just different now. It's completely different. And you're competing with teams being having access to TV. Because that was the whole thing. He was like, I want to be on TV. You know what I mean? Everybody on TV.
That was the big thing. Hey, fellas, you know what added fuel to our fire? Man, we need to find Coach Gentry. They get Coach Gentry in that building. It's gonna be a lot. We play angry. We play angry because of what Coach Gentry put us through.
You're 100% right. They got his protege in there back. They brought him back, Jared Ferguson. Jared Ferguson is back.
That's right.
That's right. So listen again. Pride knows that. We know that. Mike, you 100% right, because that attitude, like Boone, I was telling Mike, reminding him about when you played in the Wild Turkey. It was the Wildcat, but when you got a quarterback and they put you back there in the Wild Turkey, you were literally running people over, man. Like you look like, Thanos, like you had all 5 soul stones or whatever, the rings, and you was killing people. Just before we jump into Hokie trivia and then our Hokie shout-outs, Boone, I want you to go first, and we get to you, Rouse, man. You mentioned about you came there from the great Oscar Smith and you came to Tech, and you were a quarterback in high school and a really good one. You were physical, but you were a winner. And you changed positions, you played tight ends, and you won conference championships, man. Just remind everybody, man, watching and listening on Spotify, like talk about like your times at Tech, man, just what it was like, not just the winning, but just the mindset you guys had and just what it meant to be a Hokie for you.
Well, for me, freshman year was the worst.
What?
Freshman year by far the worst. That 7 o'clock breakfast chat with Bruce, and Bruce snitching on everybody. Everybody know about Bruce.
Shout out to Bruce.
Bruce was Bean's right-hand man.
Yes.
I mean, for me, just guys from the area, man. Everybody you can connect with. So that made it somewhat easier for me. That's why I committed to Tech, just because so many amount of people from the area. But overall, man, I wouldn't change nothing about my experience there. Like I had a great time.
Rouse, what about you, man? You part of that great DBU legacy, man. I mean, good God, you've been part of our trivia questions. I mean, the DB legacy is still crazy. Even after Beamer left, they got DeAngelo in the league with the Raiders.
Right.
Faison is
DBU,
still playing.
The real
Faison,
DBU.
Greg Stroman is still playing. We, the Edmonds brothers. I mean, we still doing it, man. You're part of a great legacy. Just again, your time there.
Yeah, man. Listen, I didn't think about going to college. I was too poor to even think about, going to school. And the main reason why I went to Virginia Tech, because of Mike. I mean, he did some phenomenal things, man. And he was from here. He was from the 757. And then turned around, Ronyell Whitaker, from Young's Park, from where I'm originally from, went to Virginia Tech. And so I was just blown away by that. But then to have Coach Beamer and Brian Steinspring, I mean, right coming off that national championship run in my high school, offer me a ride, I was like, man, it's a no-brainer. Like, this is where I'm going. And my experience is Tech, I didn't have the typical college experience just because, I was a dad. I was raising a kid.
That's right.
I was a full-time student, and I was an athlete, just trying to make sure I graduated and trying to make sure I performed on the football field. So, after the big games, I didn't get a chance to go to top of the stairs or go downstairs downtown and things like that.
You ain't missed nothing.
I was hopping in my Caprice, coming back to the 757 to see my son. So, but man,
good man.
I tell you, the things that I miss though most and I love most is just our guys, man. I mean, we were really, it was a real brotherhood, and we played for each other. I mean, lights out. We had a chip on our shoulder, and then it didn't matter whether you came from Nova, from Florida, from 804, from 75. It didn't matter where you came from. You had them Hokie colors on, bro. We was riding against anybody. That year where we had the number 1 ranked defense, we felt like we could take on a pro team. I mean, our mindset was just like, it didn't matter who came in the lane. It didn't matter where we went, whether it was down in UVA or West Virginia, we taking over, man. And that's what I want to see from our kids, like from our programming. When I'm watching, I ain't necessarily watching so much of like schemes and things like that. I want to see heart. I'm watching, seeing if guys are like finishing plays, game tackling, if guys are like catching the ball with an attitude or making sure like they running plays efficiently and proficient. I want to see heart and like a passion for the game, because that's what made us all great. When I used to watch Mike and them play, man, like he refused to be tackled. You know what I'm saying? He could have easily one person could have easily just tried to get, man, listen, it took more than 11 people to try to tackle that man. You know what I'm saying?
Got to come get
Greg Boone, even though he lined up at quarterback or whatever, tight end, you had to bring 4 or 5 people to try to tackle him. It was like, I refused to go down. So that's what I'm saying. And then defensive play on the side of the ball, I'm getting hyped because I'm just,
Hey, Rouse, I'm hyped.
I love our style of play, man. On the defense side of the ball, it was game tackle. I'm trying to get a fumble. I'm trying to make sure a turnover. I'm trying to make sure this running back next time he tiptoe. Where the mindset at, man? It ain't just. It's just the whole. Some college programs have done a good job of keeping the kids focused on the mindset. And this is why I think Coach Pride and the coaching staff, what their work really is, cut out for them, getting these kids' mindset and focus on how we play football at Virginia Tech, and understanding that when we see like an ODU or I haven't earned the right to wear these colors. You know what I mean? It's that level of respect and mindset that we wear these colors. We earned this right here because coaches saw something in us that was different from another player, and that was like, we don't quit, we don't give up, we don't care who you is, we're gonna ball out, we're gonna give you all that we have. And so that's what I want to see. Whether we win, lose, or draw, that's something I saw from learn from Coach Beamer. It was how you played the game. Whether we won or lost, it was how you played the game.
Sure. Yeah, I want to ask you guys this before we jump into Hokie Trivia, sponsored by Alexandria Restaurant Partners. We all played against Boston College. Boston College, even when I played in the 90s, they looked the same. They're still big and they got all those guys. Those just they're the same thing. They're the same team. But they're not the same team. They are also in transition and like us trying to get back to where they need to be or where they want to be. Boone, you played against BC. I'll start with you. And you saw the game. You were there in person like Rouse and a lot of Tech people. What does Tech need to do? I mean, obviously the whole X's and O's, not turning the ball over. You heard Rouse get us all fired up with just having that mindset. But from a game plan perspective, seeing what they did well, seeing what they didn't do well, what do they need to do? It's a home opener for Coach Pride. What does Tech need to do offensively, defensively as a team to get that W?
Offensively, I think they need to take some shots deep just to keep the defense honest. With all this dinking and dunking plays, like you're not going to keep a defense honest. Once, just treat like Bud Foster do. And Bud Foster could make your offense one-dimensional, then he already won the game at that point. And I felt like the whole game, we were just a lot of swing passes to the running backs in the flats and a lot of tight end passes to tight ends in the flats. And to me, I think without throwing it deep, it's not keeping your offense honest.
Yeah. Rouse, you were talking to me. Boone was there. He came over late after the game, man. I know you in politics and you probably going to be a senator or governor one day, but if you don't do that or you get tired of that, you could definitely be a coach. Because, Mike, I was heading out because, ODU crowd, and I'm trying to get out there because, they talking trash. I'm like, you know what, let me get to my hotel room. But Rouse stopped me. He's like, yeah, they would do it. He started breaking it down on how they need to sit on Rouse. I said, oh, yeah, Rouse, same energy, man. Like, what does Tech need to do, this weekend in a primetime game, their home opener against Boston College in order to get that W?
Play smart. I think they need to play smart, and they need to show a hunger for the ball. When the ball was in the air for us, it was ball hawks. Everybody was trying to get that ball. And so I think the defense played. I mean, you couldn't ask for the defense to play any better than last week. It's just on those big plays that kill you. So you got to make sure you capitalize on those big plays. But be ball hawks. And I think
they dropped 4 picks. You saw that, right? They dropped 4 picks.
Yeah, they did. I mean, there you go. And that's all field position, it's special teams. I mean, it's the little things like not fair catching the punt, letting the ball hit the ground, and you changing the field, losing the field position, you losing that. And I think, again, it's the little things, man. It's playing smart, playing focused, and playing with a certain passion for the game. And so, end of the day, this term, right? Y'all done heard this all the time. Just win, baby, win. Just win.
Just win.
Just win at this point. Day, get the W, because one thing I know, 2 things, one thing for certain, 2 things for sure is when there's blood in the water, that's when people coming, everybody coming at you.
Shots come.
Exactly. They're going to give you their best shot. And so they think we weak. They think, they think they smell blood in the water. So them boys got to have that mindset, man. It's me against the world, or us against the world in terms of team.
No doubt. Sir. No doubt, man. Well, now I've told you guys we're at a segment now where all our fans love, and you guys get to now test your Hokie knowledge. We are here for the Hokie trivia segment. So we got 4 questions and 1 potential bonus question, depending on how you guys do. Before I do that, let me shout out our sponsors, Alexandria Restaurant Partners, featuring Mia's Italian Kitchen, The Majestic, the Palette 22, High Tide Lounge, and other restaurants formed in 2015 and 16 to be the best in the nation and the biggest by achieving operational excellence, leading it with integrity, and being transparent. Visit AlexandriaRestaurantPartners.com to learn more about careers, private events, and sign up for future offers. Shout out to our guy Win and Alexandria Restaurant Partners for sponsoring. So, Rouse, Boone, as the crowd would say in Lane Stadium. And Mike knows this. This is our season 2. Last week, man, we had the great Corey Moore on, and Mike and I do the questions. You guys get the answers. Multiple choice format. Corey, as great as he was, 2-time Big East Player of the Year, All-American. He's up for the National College Football Hall of Fame. He went 0 for 4. Just to let you know, nobody's gotten 4 all right. I think the closest was the great Chris Ellis. He got 3 out of 4, him and Cornell Brown. But ultimately, we don't always see that. If ever, we get 4 right. So I'm going to see where we go. All right, first question. Boone, I'm going to start with you. What was Virginia Tech's nickname before they became the Hokies? Was it A, and Rouse, just wait your turn, Mike. I'm going with Boone first. Before Aaron's Rouse faces class.
It's a good one.
Yo, before they became the Hokies, was it A, the Tough Turkeys, B, Fighting Turkeys, C, Brown Birds, or D, Fighting Gobblers?
I'm going to go with D, Fighting Gobblers.
Okay. Boone is going for Fighting Gobblers. What you got, Rouse? You want me to read the questions again? Tough Turkeys. No cheating. I see you looking down unless you're reflecting, you thinking. No cheating. Yeah. Fighting Turkeys, Brown Birds, Tough Turkeys, or Fighting Gobblers?
I would go with, what did you say, Boo? I mean, you say, listen.
He said, D.
Hey, if we all wrong, we all right. I'm going with the Gobblers, the Fighting Gobblers.
Hey, okay.
I'm going with the Fighting Gobblers too. That kind of stick, and the rest of those, the rest of those names just sound terrible. So it had to be the Fighting Gobblers. It had to be the Fighting Gobblers.
All right. You guys are correct. So you check one off, man. The
Let's
Fighting
go,
Gobblers
fellas.
nickname was
Let's go, fellas.
In 1908, man. 16 years after Virginia Tech. Then we were the Virginia Agriculture and Mechanical College, affiliate of the football team.
Nice.
So nobody really knows how it got started. There's rumors and speculation, but basically we were the Fighting Gobblers.
That was a good one.
Yeah. All right, here we go. I'm trying to be unique because I got this one along the same lines. After Virginia Tech scores a touchdown in Lane Stadium, the Corps Cadets fire a cannon. What is the name of the cannon? Rouse, I'm gonna start with you.
Come on, man.
Yeah. Is the cannon name A, Butch, B, Sonny, C, Skipper, D, Little John?
Give me the options again. Do I get a bonus friend?
All right. Here we go. No, I'll give it to you. Is it?
All right, you give it to me.
It's you guys know Boom, that cannon, they fired.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Is it A, Butch, B, Sonny, C, Skipper, or D, Little John?
It's Skipper, man. I'm just messing with you, bro.
Okay. All right. Boom, what you got?
I'm going with Skipper also.
All right.
Hey, they're telling you, we all right.
I'm going with A. Ain't nothing like a cannon named Butch.
Hold on, man.
That sounds like something you okay. Let it go, Butch. Ooh.
I'm telling you, when we all right, we all right. Even when
so wait a
wrong.
minute. So Mike's saying Butch, and you and Boone are saying Skipper?
The Skipper,
yeah, I'm going with Skipper.
Okay. The correct answer is Skipper. You guys are 2 for 2. Yeah.
It's all good. I can see the cannon being named Butch, though.
They basically say
why want to change his name.
All right. Now we're gonna pick it up some. We got you warmed up. You guys got confidence. Now we heading into the third quarter. Question number 3. Which Virginia Tech punt returner holds the all-time record with 22 yards per punt return. So this is the 22. Yeah. Okay, it's easy. Okay, Rouse.
No, but I ain't first though. Mike,
the boys about to go 4 for 4. The boys going
Mike,
4 for 4. Let's
Mike.
go.
Okay, who is it? Is it Eddie Royal, DeAngelo Hall, Andre Davis, or Greg Stroman? Mike. Yeah, look at Boone's face. Yeah. Here we go.
I say C. Andre Davis.
Okay, Mike is saying C. Andre Davis. Boone, who is it? This is the 22-yard per average. Is it Eddie Royal, DeAngelo Hall, Andre Davis, Greg Stroman? All dynamic punt returners. 4 of the best in Virginia Tech football history.
Oh man, I ain't really see Andre Davis play, but I seen some highlights from him from punt return. So I'm leaning towards him, but I'm a alternate choose. I'm gonna choose Stroman.
Stroman, okay. So all right. And Rouse, you want me to read the answers again to select the choice?
I'm stuck between Andre and Eddie though, because I'm like,
choose one.
I'm gonna go with Eddie Royal.
All right. So you're going with Eddie Royal, and the answer is Andre Davis with a 22-yard.
My boy, I seen my boy.
22 yards.
Back there.
Yeah, and I knew that was going to be a tough one because each one of those guys I mentioned all hold records. DeAngelo and Eddie. I mean, Stroman, they all 4. I mean, when you look at the record books, but yeah, it's Andre Davis, man. I mean, he was electric.
Yeah.
You think about some of those.
He probably didn't touch it as much as Eddie and those other guys, but he touched it the least amount. That's why his average is higher. So I figured it was Drake. You know, he was my offense. He was our offense, so I kept track of everything he did.
Yeah.
Hey, we supposed to have 50-50 on this too, man.
50-50? Huh? That's that city councilman math right there. That's that.
We're supposed to have 50-50 on here, man.
Here we go. All right. Get another crack at it. You 2 out of 3. Which VT wide receiver holds the record with the most receptions in the game with 14? This receiver holds the record with 14 catches in the game. Is it
got to be somebody within the last 10?
Okay, we'll see. I'll be having guys in here from 1962, man. Here we go. Boom, since you're talking, we'll rock with you first. Is it A, Cam Phillips, B, Damon Hazelton, C, Isaiah Ford, or D, Josh Morgan? 14
I know it ain't C.
I know it ain't who?
C, know it ain't Josh C? Morgan.
You saying it's okay.
What was the first one?
Cam Phillips, Damon Hazelton, Isaiah Ford. Okay. All right. Boone's going with Cam Phillips. Rouse, what you got, my guy?
50-50, sir. I'm gonna say it was you said give me
versus ECU, if I'm not mistaken.
Give me the names again.
Cam Phillips, Damon Hazelton, Isaiah Ford, and Josh Morgan.
Will you say, Boone? Phillips?
You can't be doing that, man.
We're a team.
What's wrong with you, man?
Hey, this is a team.
You over there blazing?
You know,
this is a team sport. I'm gonna say Cam Phillips.
Okay. All right.
Hey, I keep trying to tell y'all, when we all right and we all together, man. When we all wrong, we all right.
All right.
Hey, cuz I'm going Rouse and someone say, hey, Cam Phillips. I think I remember that happened. I think I watched that game.
All right, like a typical Virgo, Greg Boone has a great memory. He is right. It was Cam Phillips with 14 against East Carolina. Virginia Tech.
Did I say Rouse? Oh, my bad.
60.
My bad. I meant Boone. But yeah, it was Cam.
He said they scored 64 points that game. Cam Phillips had 14 catches for 189 yards that game.
So
I
remember that. I watched that game.
And he and actually, ironically, you were right, Boone, the last several years because the offense is more spread. Second or one on near that list is Damon Hazelton. He had a game where he had 12 catches. So all right.
He had I want to say my sophomore year, we played East Carolina first game, and Sam Willard had about 11 or 12 catches also.
Yeah, man. I might send you up for some trivia. Yeah. All right. Here's a bonus question. This is all fun. See if you guys got it. I laughed as I came up with this question, man. I hope y'all don't get this one wrong. The pressure's on because we should all get this right. Which of the following is not a Frank Beamer common saying? So this statement Beamer doesn't say, okay? Is it A, go man go, B, play with intelligent recklessness, C, don't hold back, or D, now this team will get after you?
I'm going to go with C.
You
don't hold back. Don't hold back. Go man go.
Yeah, I heard go man go. Go man go. That's a special team saying go man go.
We just gotta pull back.
Rouse, which one you going? Which one is not a Coach Beamer common saying?
I gotta hear it in his voice. So go man go. Then there. What's the second one?
Play with intelligent recklessness.
We want to play with intelligent recklessness. Okay, yeah, he said that. And what else?
Don't hold back.
Nah, he ain't say that. What's the last one?
Now this team will get after you.
This team will get out. Yeah, it's the third one, man. He ain't say the third one.
All right. And Mike.
Yeah, I agree. I ain't never heard him say don't hold back. I think I did.
So he has said it, but you guys are all right, man. I just thought that was a fun one. His first time that being on the show, man. Beams had some great saying. I still trip off how he had them papers balled up and he'd be like, hey, let's go, man, go. You know, that team will get after you. Beams had all the papers in his back pocket, bro.
Hey, his favorite one, he'll see two people and he'll say, what's up, gang?
No, man, no doubt, man. It's great to have you guys on, man. We're wrapping up the show now, man. So this is always a very, very good part of the show because we get a chance to just show love, take a few minutes to shout out anybody's Hokie shout-outs, man. We're going to shout out, anybody that you want to show love to or recognize. It could be a regular student, a coach, someone from the cleaning crew, a mentor you had, as long as they're a Hokie, a professor, somebody that you want to just shout out right now on the VICK757 Show, talking all things tech, somebody that you remember, or even somebody that you've encountered here in recent years, man. We just want to take time to shout them out. So, Boone, I don't know if you have anybody off the top of your head or, I give you time to think about it. Is there a teammate or a coach or a player you want to shout out?
I'm going with Steinspring, man. I think Steinspring was the glue that took all the recruits from the 7-5. If we needed them, he went and got them. So I'm going to give my shout out to Steinspring.
No doubt. And I'll second that. That's not my shout out, but I'll just say this, man. Brian Steinspring, to this day, him and Coach Grimes, a lot of the coaches, but Steinspring specifically, and Coach Grimes still texts me, call me, tells me he loves me. He keeps in contact. And, respectfully, where we are all from, whether you're from Virginia Beach, Youngsport, the Newport News, East End, Shell Road and Hampton. You just don't walk into the 757 and get guys from an urban area to go to Southwest Virginia. And he promised our parents and families, and he took after him and Coach Cav. I remember when Mike was being recruited, and I seen Coach Cav and Beams and Steinspring at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? And really circle. Yeah. I'm like, bro, y'all really want Mike. Because they don't be. I was at Really Circle the other day. I was home.
They came to Really Circle, man. And they came, and Coach Beamer walked up in my parking lot, like 8 o'clock at night. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to his school. He won't scare. I was just hoping Coach made it back to the car. Look, the whole time I'm like, please don't let it be no gunshots. Please don't let them hear no gunshots. They're not gonna want me.
No doubt, man. No doubt, man.
God is great. God is great.
Rouse, who do you have, man? Who you want to give a Hokie shout out to?
So two people. One, I want to thank on the academic side. I want to thank Nikki Giovanni. She just retired as well, and she opened my eyes, and made me really, really appreciate, my scholarship and what that meant. And it didn't just mean football. It meant an education, understanding that. And so I want to thank Nikki Giovanni for all her, for teaching me and all her words of, encouragement and advice. And I want to wish her a happy retirement as well. And then I want to give a shout out to someone I think should be in the Virginia Tech Hall of Fame. This guy is still just a freak of nature when it comes to the position. He was All-American. He could have played basketball and football. And he was just phenomenal. And that was Jimmy Williams, man. I want to shout out J-Dub, man. I still haven't seen a player 6'3", 200, 20-some pounds, shutting down the number one receivers and just a total ball hawk. And so I think let's get Jimmy Williams in the Virginia Tech Hall of Fame. Shout out to my guy.
Yo,
no doubt.
Shout out to Jimmy Williams, man. That's my dude, man. He a unanimous All-American. And you talk about being a goon on the field. I still remember being in the stands at Maryland because I live in the DMV, and my wife and like 8 of us went up to Maryland, and Tech, y'all were ranked like, I don't know, not y'all, but they were ranked 3rd in the nation. And Marcus was at quarterback, and Jimmy Williams, they used to just, him and Anderson, James Anderson used to just shut the line. What's that tight end's name that played for the 49ers that Cam Chancellor used to kill?
Vernon
Davis. I see
Jimmy
them would just hit him like he owed them money. They would just hit him, man. Jimmy played angry, like Mike always say. He just played angry, man. But those are 2 great shout-outs, man. Yeah, and God bless Nikki, man. She taught me a lot. I had her. She's a legend.
Yeah.
Mike, who do you have, man?
Hey, I got 2 real quick. Because if you can remember, Dwight, what was the math teacher? Anybody, the trigonometry teacher? He was a man. He was a guy, white guy, real cool.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I wish you had texted because I know not Dr.
I can't remember his name. I wasn't Dr. Val. I can't remember his name, but I want to shout him out because I used to act like an idiot in his class, and I was just way too old to be acting the way I was acting in this class. And while he was trying to teach us how to do long division, I was never really paying attention. Me and Ronyell in there joking, and I just feel like I should have taken that class more serious. I might have learned to count a lot quicker.
That's a great shout out. I know exactly. I can see him.
But I know I was talking about. I'm embarrassed the way he used to act in his class, and he was a great teacher. I just never gave him a chance. So shout out to him, and I want to give a shout out to Coach Foster, man. Coach Foster, Bud Foster is a Virginia Tech great. He's legendary. What he did for a defense that was very unique, playing an 8-man front. It's how I learned how to protect the offense versus blitzes. It's how I learned defense and really learned how to defend defenses and combat defenses. It was because of his defense was different. And, it really helped me moving forward, as far as breaking down positions and really figuring out who was blitzing, who was coming, and how to get it picked up. But not only that, he was a great defensive coordinator. And without Bud Foster, that 99 season is not possible. He had those guys playing at a high level. Corey Moore, Nate, Carl Bradley, Midget, everybody, man, Jamel. Like, we had the number 1 top 10 defense in the country, and it was all because of Bud. And I know you can attest to that, Aaron, how good of a coach he was. So shout out to Bud, man. Bud's a great coach.
Absolutely. Shout out to Bud. And also, Dwight, I know I want to shout out to Ronyell too, man. Ronyell Whitaker, man. Like, listen, Deuce, he set the tone in DB room, man. The funniest guy you ever want to meet, but also, funny. He was a dog.
That was Dwight's guy too. That was Dwight's guy too. So, he was my guy. He was everybody's guy.
Shout out to Ronyell, man. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Ronyell actually called me 2 weeks ago, man, just to get some advice on some things he's thinking about doing. We talked for an hour and a half, man. He was like, "What you doing, big fella?" And then we just started talking, man. That's the thing about if you blessed to play sports, whether you had a D3, D2, D1, that brotherhood, no matter what era you played in, is forever, man.
Change.
I didn't play with Boone, you and Rouse, but I watched y'all play when we met each other. It's all love. always a big fan of Boone. We're both September babies, so you know how that go, man. I want to shout out though, man, a guy. He is not as popular as far as All-Americans and all conference players, but he was a great player, and that's Chad Beasley. He was a defensive tackle at Tech. Chad Beasley, I used to go against him and David Pugh and Carl Bradley, Nate Williams and Corey Moore and those guys when I was an upperclassman. I was on my way out. They were young guys, but from an off the field standpoint, Chad was a very solid contributor, good player, had great moments, but respectfully, and if you've been involved with the alumni, we went through a really rough patch when Beamer and God rest his soul, Jim Weaver left and Fuente and his crew came in. There was a disconnect. Now Pry and those guys, the player engagement team, Sam and them, they're getting his bag, you know, getting his tickets and things are getting like they're supposed to be. But Chad Beasley and Kevin Jones, yeah, shout out to Sam. But Kevin Jones, before he left to do his thing, him and Chad Beasley were working diligently to reconnect the alumni. And Chad, if you get emails from him, he's worked on getting his tailgate spots, connecting the alumni. And, you know, it takes a lot because he doesn't get paid for that. And it's one of those things when things get right, people like that sometimes get forgotten. I've always been a fan of Chad. They support my business, Victory Life. They're big fans of all of us. And I'm just proud to say he's a teammate and a friend. So I just want to shout him out, man. Chad Beasley, great dude, man. Yeah, man.
And shout out Coach Pride, man, like for real, because he came in, man. He really trying to reinstitute that 757 connect. So shout out to Coach Pride with all the alumni making that a focus, man, getting us back around the program. Bro.
Yeah.
Well, Rouse, you got the record for most shout-outs in the segment. I tell you that. So something definitely feel good about it. Something to feel good about as you exit this show. Hey, congratulations, baby. 6 shout-outs. Keep it going. Keep it going.
I love it. I love it.
I got more shout-outs. You already know. Don't give a politician a mic.
I like the emoji.
Hey, real quick before we can wrap up, man. I'm glad you mentioned that. Rouse, I'll get with you, and then Boone, I'll get with you. Rouse, just really quickly, man, what you got going on? You know, campaign-wise, fundraising, just let all the people know. Speak on that real quick, man.
I appreciate that, man. Listen, I am running for state senate now, District 22.
Oh, nice.
It's the new district into Virginia Beach again, and I have an opportunity to become the first African-American to be elected senator from the city of Virginia Beach. Ways you can help and support is rouseforsenate.com. That's my platform on there as well. And I want to thank all the Hokies thus far for having my back. We have gotten off to a really incredible, great start, and that comes from having a great alumni association, the base coming from Virginia Tech. And so I appreciate y'all. Thank you again for Dwight for letting me announce that my platform. And yo, let's win in November. Vote, man. No matter who you vote for, vote.
And is it just people in Virginia Beach, or can, like, you know, I'm up in the 703? It's just only people in that district.
It's everywhere.
Right? Listen, you can send money from anywhere. As long as you're in the U.S.
I was talking about voting. I don't know about the money. I don't know. I'm just playing. I'll do what I can. No.
Come on, God.
No. I would definitely
get you that support, baby. We're gonna get you that support, Rouse.
Rouse knows how much I love and admire him. He was on the Victory Life Legacy Spotlight. He knows how much I admire him. Boom. What's going on with you? Are you gonna get back to a game? What do you got going on for the fans so they can know how they can catch up with you?
I'm gonna try to get back to the Miami game or any game that's feasible. So,
are you back in the 7-5 or where you at?
Yeah, I'm back in 7-5, back in Chesapeake.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I know you carrying an Oscar Smith flag. Real big. Yeah, I see him on Twitter, Facebook. He letting them know, man. Boone. Thank you both. 2 legends joining us on the VICK757 Show, man. Great show as always, man. Hey, everybody, continue to support us. We're on Spotify and YouTube, soon to be on iTunes. Thank you to our sponsors. And we do have some more sponsors. That's a tease coming up. We got some new sponsors that's about to jump on the VICK757, talking all things tech train. So we appreciate y'all for jumping on. This is growing because of the fans like you guys out here supporting us and great guests like Greg Goon and Aaron Rouse, man. So Text at BC, hosting BC in Lane Stadium, 8 o'clock Saturday night. Like we say every episode, man, go Hokies.
Hokie greats, we out.
Go Hokies,
sir.